Human student always bullied by aliens. Until his secret power is revealed, Kai stepped off the transport pod and into the bustling corridor of the Interstellar Academy. The walls shimmered with holographic displays of distant stars and alien planets, each one more magnificent than the last. Kai had dreamed of this day for as long as he could remember, yet now that he was here, standing among so many alien students, a tight knot of anxiety gripped his stomach. He was small for his age, even among humans, and here he was, one of the very few humans at an academy that brought together the most talented beings from across the galaxy. Birds of prey-like creatures with sharp talons, serpentine beings with glistening scales, and towering species with multiple arms and eyes all passed him with curious glances. Most didn't hide their amusement. "Look at him," a tall, blue-skinned alien whispered to its companion, its voice high and harsh. "That tiny human thinks he can survive here." Kai tried to ignore them, focusing on the holographic map that hovered in front of him. His schedule, dorm location, and classroom assignments flickered brightly. He was supposed to report to his dormitory first, but the corridor seemed to stretch endlessly, full of students moving in every direction. Every step felt heavier than the last, as if the eyes of every alien were weighing him down. He spotted a group of students laughing near the gravity training chamber. The group included Zarnak, a tall, horned alien with 4 arms and a permanent sneer, and Lyra, a serpentine student with luminous green scales and sharp fangs that clicked when she laughed. They were the leaders of the Academy's social hierarchy, and unfortunately they had already noticed Kai. Kai tried to quicken his pace, but it was too late. "Hey, human," Zarnak called, his voice echoing unnaturally down the corridor. "Isn't it a little early to be lost?" Lyra slithered forward, her eyes narrowing. "Or maybe he's just scared of all the real students here. Should we help him, Zarnak?" The group erupted into laughter. Kai's cheeks burned. He had faced bullies before, but this was different. These were not just classmates. They were creatures from worlds he had only read about, beings whose physical abilities far surpassed his own. And yet here he was, the only human among them, alone and unprotected. Kai swallowed hard and tried to respond calmly. I'm just trying to find my dorm." His voice was small, almost lost among the laughter, but he hoped it would carry some confidence. Zarnak's 4 arms crossed over his chest. "Dorm? That's funny. You look like you couldn't even carry your own bag, human." He stepped closer, towering over Kai. "Maybe you should just go back to Earth or whatever rock you crawled out from." The words stung, but Kai kept his gaze forward. He had learned early on that showing fear only made the bullies stronger. He forced himself to walk past them, keeping his steps measured and steady. Yet, Lyra struck at the edge of his bag with one claw, sending it sliding across the floor. Kai bent down quickly, scooping it up before it could be taken. "Careful, human," Lyra hissed, her fangs glinting in the corridor lights, "or you might lose more than just your little bag." Kai ignored her and hurried away, his heart pounding. His dorm was only a few levels above, but the path felt endless. Each laugh, each mocking glance made him wish he could disappear. When he finally reached his room, he leaned against the door and exhaled slowly. His small dorm was modest, with a bed, a desk, and a window that looked out into the sparkling void of space. The sight should have been comforting, but even here, Kai couldn't shake the feeling of being out of place. As he unpacked, he thought about why he had come here in the first place. Humans were not known for their physical strength or alien technology mastery. Other species could lift massive weights, shoot energy beams, or process data faster than any human brain. And yet humans had something else, a quiet ingenuity, adaptability, and resilience that no alien species fully understood. Kai didn't know if that would be enough to survive the academy, but he had to believe it was. The next day, classes began. The first session was zero-gravity training, designed to teach students how to move and fight in environments without gravity. Kai floated into the chamber, struggling slightly to adjust his movements. Around him, students twirled and flipped effortlessly, moving with a grace and speed that Kai envied. Zarnak and Lyra were already there, smirking as they hovered above the training floor. "Watch closely, human," Zarnak said. "This is real skill. Try not to crash." Kai focused, attempting to keep his balance. His body tensed, and for a moment he felt every alien eye on him. He moved cautiously, trying to mirror the motions of the others. He was careful, precise, but slow. His classmates snickered as he struggled to keep pace. Lyra suddenly darted toward him, spinning with lightning speed. Kai barely managed to dodge, and his foot hit a loose control panel floating in midair. Sparks flew, and alarms rang through the chamber. "You call that training?" Zarnak barked, laughing. "You're a disaster." Kai flushed red, mortified. He tried to apologize, but his voice barely carried over the cacophony of laughter. He floated awkwardly, clutching at nothing to stabilize himself, wishing the floor would open up and swallow him. After what felt like hours, the session ended. Kai was exhausted, bruised, and humiliated. He retreated to a corner of the academy, hiding from the others as they boasted about their skills. Yet even in his shame, a spark of determination flickered inside him. He couldn't control their strength or their technology, but maybe he could control something else, something they couldn't see. That evening, Kai wandered into the academy library, a vast space filled with floating data holograms, ancient tomes, and interactive star charts. Here, humans had an advantage, the ability to think critically, to analyze, to learn from observation rather than brute force. Kai spent hours studying alien tactics, strategies, and movement patterns. Every detail he could gather, he stored in his mind, quietly forming plans for the future. "Lost again, human?" a voice said. Kai jumped, startled. He turned to see Professor Vale, a tall alien with translucent skin that shimmered like liquid glass. Vale's multiple eyes regarded him curiously but without malice. I'm fine, sir," Kai replied cautiously. Vale tilted his head. "Humans, you are an interesting species. Fragile, yes. Underestimated, certainly. But you have a capacity for rapid adaptation that even the most advanced alien minds struggle to match." Kai blinked. I don't understand." Vale smiled faintly. "You may not know it yet, but your mind can change faster than any algorithm or combat protocol these aliens can learn. You can see patterns, anticipate moves, and improvise in ways they cannot predict. You just need guidance to unlock it." Kai's heart raced. Could it be true? Could humans really have something that these superior alien species lacked? For the first time in weeks, he felt a glimmer of hope. "I want to learn," he said, determination creeping into his voice. Vale nodded. "Good, meet me here tomorrow. We will begin your training in ways they cannot even imagine." That night, Kai lay in his bed, staring out at the stars. The vastness of space had always frightened him, but now it seemed different. It was not a place to hide in fear. It was a place to grow, to adapt, to prove that even the smallest human could hold a secret power the galaxy had never seen. The next morning, as he walked past Zarnak and Lyra again, he no longer flinched. Their mocking eyes met his, but he held his head high. He was still the small, human student they thought weak, but inside, a quiet storm was beginning to form. One day, they would see that the human they mocked was not the same human who had walked into the academy yesterday. Kai didn't yet know what his power would look like, but he knew it existed. And he was ready to discover it, one careful, determined step at a time. The next day, Kai returned to the library at the same hour. Professor Vale was waiting, standing among towering stacks of books and flickering data holograms. His translucent skin shimmered faintly under the soft lights, reflecting colors Kai didn't know existed. "Good," Vale said. "You came." Kai nodded. "I want to learn everything. Anything that can help me survive here and more." Vale's multiple eyes studied him carefully. "Very well. Humans have a unique advantage. Others rely on brute strength, instinct, or programmed calculations. You have the ability to adapt, to predict, to improvise. But these abilities must be trained." Kai's stomach twisted with a mix of excitement and nervousness. "How do I start?" Vale gestured to a large holographic star map floating in the center of the library. "We will start small, observe patterns. Learn to anticipate outcomes before they happen. This is not strength training. This is mind training. Your body is limited, but your mind can be limitless." Kai listened intently as Vale explained simulations and exercises designed to teach observation, quick thinking, and adaptability. The exercises were unlike anything Kai had done before. Instead of physical contests, they focused on predicting movements, solving problems under pressure, and recognizing subtle patterns in behavior. Their first task involved a series of holographic drones moving in unpredictable patterns. Kai's job was to intercept them using only his mind to anticipate their movement, while Vale subtly changed the drones' patterns to make it more difficult. At first, Kai failed repeatedly. His reflexes were too slow, his mind unable to process the sudden shifts. Each failure left him frustrated, but Vale only encouraged him. "You are thinking too fast," Vale said. "Slow down, watch, learn. The answer is not in brute speed, it is in understanding." Kai took a deep breath and focused. He stopped trying to react immediately and instead observed the drone's patterns. Slowly, he began to predict their movements. When a drone darted to the left, he anticipated it before it happened. When it looped unexpectedly, he adjusted. By the end of the session, he had intercepted nearly all of the drones. "You see," Vale said, smiling faintly, "you are learning not through force but through awareness." For the first time in his life, Kai felt a flicker of real confidence. Maybe he could be more than the small, weak human the other students laughed at. Maybe he could surprise them all. The next few weeks became a rhythm of secret training. Every day, Kai would meet Vale in the library or other quiet parts of the academy. He learned to analyze body language, understand alien tactics, and predict outcomes in real time. The exercises became harder. Vale introduced simulations with multiple variables, teaching Kai to adapt when plans failed or unexpected events occurred. Meanwhile, Kai continued attending his regular classes. He still faced bullying daily. Zarnak and Lyra seemed to take pleasure in making him stumble, pushing him during zero-gravity exercises, mocking his attempts at alien language, and highlighting every small mistake. One day, during combat training, Zarnak deliberately bumped into Kai mid-flip, sending him tumbling into the wall. The whole class laughed. Kai's face burned with embarrassment, but he remembered Vale's lessons. He steadied himself quickly, noticing the exact moment Zarnak had misjudged the push. Next time, he planned to anticipate it. By the end of the week, Kai's improvement was subtle but noticeable. He moved faster, predicted attacks more accurately, and could react before his bullies fully committed to their actions. Yet, he remained careful, hiding his growing skills from everyone. He didn't want attention yet. One evening, as Kai returned to the dorms, he overheard a conversation between two students. "Have you seen the human lately?" one whispered. "He's still pathetic. I can't believe he survives here." "Pathetic, yes," the other agreed. "But I swear he's been changing somehow. I saw him dodge Lyra's attack in training the other day before she even finished her move." Kai froze. They had noticed something. A mix of fear and excitement ran through him. His training was working, but he had to be careful. If the wrong students realized how capable he was, the jealousy and envy could become worse than the teasing he had endured so far. That night, Kai couldn't sleep. He stared at the stars beyond his window, thinking about how much he had changed in just a few weeks. The fear and humiliation were still there, but they no longer controlled him. He felt a quiet strength growing inside him, a power that relied on patience, observation, and thought. The following day brought another test. The academy announced a practice scenario. Students were to navigate a complex asteroid field in small teams. Success required strategy, quick thinking, and teamwork. It was a challenge designed to test their abilities in space-like conditions, and everyone expected humans to struggle. Kai was paired with two alien students, both strong and confident. They immediately assumed the task would be easy for them and scoffed at his presence. "Don't slow us down, human," one said. Kai remained quiet, listening carefully. He noticed the patterns in the asteroid movement, the ways his teammates moved, and the blind spots in their strategy. Using subtle signals and calculated suggestions, he began guiding them. At first, his alien teammates resisted. They didn't understand why he hesitated to take direct control or why he insisted on observing longer before acting. But gradually, they began to follow his direction, trusting his instincts even when it went against their expectations. As the team navigated the field, danger approached. A large asteroid broke away from the main cluster, threatening to collide with their path. The other two froze, unsure how to react. Kai saw the solution instantly, a narrow gap that only he could predict using his calculations and observations. "Move now," Kai shouted, guiding them with precision. They followed, narrowly avoiding disaster. The team reached the end of the course faster than anyone expected. Even the instructors were impressed. "Remarkable," one said, watching the replay of the scenario. "The human predicted the asteroid's path before it changed course. He saved his team multiple times. Incredible instinct and adaptability." Kai felt a quiet smile. He hadn't boasted, but the satisfaction of finally proving himself, even in small ways, was overwhelming. The news spread quietly among the students. Whispers began circulating. Some expressed surprise, some disbelief, but most importantly, the bullies took notice. Zarnak and Lyra watched Kai more closely now, measuring him with renewed caution. Kai's secret power, the one that relied on thinking faster than anyone else, predicting outcomes, and adapting instantly, was growing. He still had a long way to go, but he was no longer just the weak human they had laughed at. Over the next few weeks, Kai's training with Vale intensified. They worked on scenarios involving multiple variables, teaching him to make decisions when everything seemed impossible. Vale introduced simulations with alien combat styles, zero-gravity maneuvers, and even interstellar navigation tasks. Each session pushed Kai to his limits. Each session left him exhausted but sharper. One day, Vale stopped the exercises mid-session. "Kai, you've improved beyond what I expected," he said. "Soon, it will no longer be enough to simply survive. You will need to act decisively when the time comes. Do you understand?" Kai nodded. "Yes, sir, I'm ready." Vale's eyes glimmered. "Good. Remember, human, your strength is not in your body. It is in your mind, your ability to adapt, and your patience. That is your advantage. Protect it, nurture it, and one day they will see what humans are truly capable of." Kai left the library that day with a new sense of purpose. The bullying would not stop entirely, he knew that, but it no longer mattered. He had a plan, a secret power, and a mentor who believed in him. The academy could remain a place of ridicule for now, but soon, Kai would change that narrative entirely. For the first time, he didn't feel small, he didn't feel weak. He felt human, and capable of more than anyone could imagine. The day of the Interstellar Challenge arrived, and the academy buzzed with excitement. Students from all species crowded the vast arena, a massive space simulation chamber that replicated different planets, asteroid fields, and alien battle terrains. Holographic displays floated above the arena, showing the complex objectives of the challenge. The goal was simple in description, but almost impossible in practice. Survive and succeed in a simulated galaxy full of unpredictable hazards while completing tasks that tested intelligence, teamwork, and strategy. Kai's heart raced as he stepped into the chamber. He was placed on a team with two other aliens, both confident and physically imposing. The other students, especially Zarnak and Lyra, watched from the observation deck above, smirking. No one expected the human to contribute much. "Don't slow us down, human," one teammate said, flexing his massive claws. "This is going to be easy, just stay out of the way." Kai nodded quietly. He had learned from Vale that arrogance was often the enemy's weakness. He let them take the lead while he observed, carefully noting patterns, timing, and movements. He felt the familiar thrill of anticipation, the spark of his secret power beginning to stir. The simulation began. Asteroids drifted dangerously close, energy barriers shifted without warning, and holographic enemies appeared from all directions. The alien teammates charged forward recklessly, relying on their strength and speed. Kai stayed back, calculating trajectories, predicting movements, and analyzing threats. Within minutes, disaster struck. A large asteroid cluster broke off from the main field, heading straight toward the team. One of the aliens tried to push it away with brute force, but only ended up stuck in the simulated debris. Another was knocked off course, spinning helplessly in zero gravity. Kai acted quickly. "Move to the right, the gap is narrow but clear," he shouted. His voice carried urgency, but it was calm, precise. The aliens hesitated, unsure if his plan would work. "Trust me," Kai said firmly, projecting confidence he didn't always feel. Slowly, his teammates followed his direction. They weaved through the asteroid cluster just in time, avoiding collision by inches. The observers above murmured. Even the instructors, seasoned veterans of interstellar strategy, were impressed. "Interesting," one muttered. The human anticipated the asteroid's drift and guided his team before disaster struck. Kai didn't have time to bask in their astonishment. The simulation continued, each obstacle growing more complex than the last. Alien rivals appeared, forming squads to block his team, and energy fields shifted unpredictably. Kai began to subtly manipulate the team's movement, guiding them through paths others would never consider. His alien teammates were faster and stronger, but their minds relied on predictable patterns. Kai's advantage lay in his ability to see beyond the obvious. As the simulation progressed, he noticed something remarkable. The other teams, particularly those led by Zarnak and Lyra, were moving in rigid, predictable ways. Their confidence blinded them to subtle shifts in the environment. Kai realized he could use that against them. He began anticipating their moves, predicting where they would intercept objectives, and maneuvering his team to stay one step ahead. "Prepare for the energy gates," Zarnak shouted from his observation post. He didn't know that Kai had already calculated the timing of the gates, allowing his team to pass safely while the other team struggled. Each success boosted Kai's confidence. He no longer just reacted, he planned, predicted, and improvised all at once. His mind worked like a complex machine, processing multiple variables and outcomes faster than any alien student around him. For the first time, he felt the thrill of being in control. Midway through the simulation, the instructors introduced a surprise challenge. A massive holographic black hole appeared in the arena, threatening to pull everything in. Teams had to navigate around it while completing objectives and avoiding attacks from rival squads. Panic spread among the students. The stronger aliens panicked, relying on brute strength to resist the pull. Kai's mind raced. He analyzed the black hole's gravitational patterns, noting fluctuations and safe paths. "Follow me," he shouted to his team, signaling precise movements. They moved as one, dodging gravitational shifts and enemy attacks. The black hole claimed other teams, leaving only a few survivors. By the end of the simulation, Kai's team reached the final objective, completing the challenge faster than anyone expected. The arena lights dimmed and the holographic displays froze. The instructors gathered around, whispering among themselves. "Remarkable," one said. "The human's predictions saved his team multiple times." His strategic mind outperformed every alien student here, even those who rely on speed and strength. Kai's teammates looked at him with newfound respect. They had dismissed him as weak, but now they understood his value. Even Zarnak and Lyra, watching from above, could not hide their surprise. You did this," Zarnak muttered under his breath, disbelief written across his features. Lyra's glowing eyes narrowed, but there was a hint of acknowledgement in her expression. Kai felt a quiet satisfaction. He hadn't wanted revenge. He hadn't wanted to humiliate anyone. He simply did what he had learned: observe, adapt, predict, and act. The power of his mind had carried him through. After the simulation, Kai returned to the library to meet Vale. The professor's eyes gleamed with pride. "You did well," he said. "Much better than I expected. You've taken what we practiced and applied it in a real, chaotic environment. That is the true test of human adaptability." Kai smiled faintly. "It felt amazing." "I never thought I could do this." Vale nodded. "This is only the beginning. The galaxy is full of challenges that rely on strength, speed, and technology. But humans have something else, something no one can easily predict. You must continue to hone it. One day, it may not just save your team, but entire worlds." Kai left the library with a renewed sense of purpose. For weeks, he had trained in secret, growing stronger in mind and spirit. Now the other students had seen a glimpse of what humans could do. He still had much to learn, but he no longer felt powerless. In the following days, the academy's atmosphere subtly shifted. Whispers about the human students circulated. Some aliens were curious, some were wary, and a few were openly resentful. Zarnak and Lyra approached him one morning, their usual arrogance tempered by caution. "Human," Zarnak said carefully, "you did well in the simulation. I didn't expect it." Kai looked at him calmly. "Thank you." Lyra added, her voice softer than usual. "You were faster in thinking than anyone else. That was impressive." Kai nodded. He didn't gloat. He knew that true power was quiet, controlled, and precise. The words were acknowledgement enough. That afternoon, Kai returned to his dorm and reflected on everything that had happened. He realized that the bullying, the humiliation, and the fear had all been part of his preparation. Each insult, each challenge, had forced him to observe, adapt, and improve. He wasn't angry anymore. He was focused. Over the next few weeks, Kai continued to train with Vale, taking on more advanced simulations and exercises. He learned to anticipate multiple outcomes, to improvise under pressure, and to use his teammates' strengths alongside his own mind. His confidence grew, and with it, his subtle reputation among the other students. One evening, Kai sat alone in the library, staring at a star chart projected in front of him. He traced patterns with his fingers, imagining scenarios, thinking of possibilities. The academy had taught him that knowledge was power, but he had learned that observation and adaptation were even greater. A soft voice interrupted his thoughts. Kai! He looked up to see Vale approaching, a faint smile on his translucent face. You are ready for the next step, the professor said. Soon you will face challenges where strength, speed, and technology are not enough. You will need to rely entirely on your mind. Are you prepared? Kai straightened, a steady determination in his eyes. I am ready. Vale's multiple eyes gleamed. Good. Remember, humans are underestimated in every corner of the galaxy. That is your advantage. Use it wisely. Kai felt a thrill run through him. For the first time, he didn't just survive in a world of superior alien species. He thrived. His mind was his weapon, his patience his shield, and his ability to adapt his ultimate strength. The other students had seen a glimpse of it, but the full extent of his power remained hidden, for now. He left the library, walking past Zarnak and Lyra once again. Their eyes followed him, but now there was hesitation in their steps. Kai smiled faintly. He didn't need to prove anything with words. His actions, his intelligence, and his growing power spoke for themselves. For the first time, Kai felt the full weight of his potential. He was human, yes, but humans had a secret, one that no alien could easily predict, and one that would change the course of his life at the Academy forever. The Academy announced a special event that sent ripples of excitement and tension through every student. The final simulation of the semester, a test unlike any they had faced before. Unlike the practice scenarios, this simulation was designed to push every student to their limits. Teams would face unpredictable hazards, rival squads, and shifting objectives. Success would require not only skill but ingenuity and quick thinking. The instructors promised that no team would survive on strength alone. Kai stood in the crowded assembly hall, listening as the rules were explained. His pulse raced with a mix of excitement and determination. This was the moment he had been preparing for, the stage where his secret power, the ability to observe, adapt, and predict, could truly shine. Teams were randomly assigned. Kai ended up with 2 alien students he barely knew. Both were bigger, stronger, and more experienced, and they looked at him with skepticism. Great, one of them muttered. Another human to hold us back. This should be fun. Kai nodded politely but said nothing. He didn't need words to prove his worth. He would show them through action. The simulation began, and the team was transported into a vast, holographic galaxy. Stars stretched endlessly, planets rotated silently, and massive asteroids drifted in unpredictable patterns. Hidden enemy drones zipped through the void, programmed to attack any team that approached the objectives. Energy fields shifted without warning, and gravitational anomalies pulled at every move. Kai's first instinct was to observe. While his alien teammates charged forward recklessly, he analyzed patterns, noting the timing of energy fields and the movements of the enemy drones. His mind worked quickly, predicting where threats would appear before anyone else could react. "Watch out!" one alien shouted as a drone zipped past them, firing energy beams. The teammate dodged narrowly, but another was hit and spun helplessly through the void. Kai acted instinctively. "Move left, then roll up." "Trust me," his voice carried calm authority, precise and urgent. His teammates hesitated for a moment but followed. The maneuver worked perfectly, avoiding further damage. The simulation grew more difficult. A massive cluster of asteroids broke off from the main belt, heading straight toward the team. Kai's teammates panicked, relying on brute strength to push them away, but each attempt only created more chaos. "Follow my lead," Kai shouted. He calculated the trajectory of each asteroid, predicting the gaps they would leave as they moved. Guiding his team carefully, he led them through narrow openings, weaving past obstacles with precision. They reached a safe zone, narrowly avoiding a collision that would have ended the simulation for them. Kai felt a thrill of satisfaction. His power, quiet, hidden but immense, was at work. While his alien teammates relied on instinct and strength, he used observation, prediction, and adaptation. Every move was calculated, every action precise. The next challenge was even more dangerous. Holographic enemies formed squads, appearing unpredictably from behind asteroids and energy barriers. The aliens immediately attacked with overwhelming force, confident in their physical superiority. Kai hesitated for only a moment before acting. He noticed patterns in their attacks, the timing, the angle, the way they moved in clusters. Using subtle hand signals and quick verbal cues, he guided his team to intercept the drones in a way that exploited their predictable behavior. Each move forced the enemies into disadvantageous positions. The observers above murmured in astonishment. Even instructors who had watched countless simulations could not believe what they saw. The human student, small and seemingly fragile, was outmaneuvering alien students who were larger, faster, and armed with advanced technology. Midway through the simulation, the final and most dangerous obstacle appeared, a massive energy storm surrounding a small planet. The objective was on the planet's surface, but the storm made direct landing nearly impossible. Teams attempting to approach too quickly were thrown back by gravitational shifts and electrical discharges. Kai's teammates froze, unsure how to proceed. "There's no way through," one exclaimed. Kai's mind raced. He had studied energy patterns, gravitational anomalies, and previous simulations. "We can't go straight," he said. "We need to follow the gaps in the storm. I can see a path if we time it correctly, trust me." The aliens hesitated. They had dismissed him for weeks, but now, with no other options, they followed his instructions. Kai guided them carefully, calculating the exact moment to move, the precise angle to approach, and the sequence of maneuvers to avoid the storm's deadly surges. Step by step, they navigated the storm, dodging energy bursts and gravitational pulls. Finally, they landed safely on the planet's surface. The objective glowed ahead, a holographic energy core that needed to be activated. As they approached, enemy squads appeared, blocking their path. The aliens prepared to fight, relying on brute force. Kai raised a hand. "Stop. Watch them first." He studied their movements, noticing hesitation and patterns. "They always attack from the same angle first," he whispered. "Move left, then split, draw them toward the gaps." The team followed his instructions. The enemies fell into traps, overextending themselves and leaving openings that Kai's team exploited. Within moments, they reached the energy core and activated it, completing the objective. The arena lights dimmed, and a loud cheer erupted from the observation deck. Instructors, students, and observers alike were stunned. The human had led his team through impossible hazards, outsmarting multiple enemy squads, and completing the mission faster than anyone had anticipated. Kai's alien teammates looked at him with awe and respect. Zarnak and Lyra, observing from above, no longer hid their surprise. They had underestimated him for months, assuming his small size and physical weakness made him irrelevant. Now they could not deny it. The human was extraordinary. After the simulation, Kai returned to the library to meet Vale. The professor's eyes glimmered with pride. "You have done well," he said. "Much better than I imagined. You did not merely survive, you led, adapted, and triumphed. You have proven what humans are capable of when they harness their minds." Kai smiled faintly. "I couldn't have done it without your guidance. I never thought I could lead, let alone win against them." Vale nodded. "Your success today is only the beginning. There will be stronger challenges, more unpredictable dangers, and enemies who will try to anticipate your moves. But you now know your strength. Never forget it." Over the next few days, the academy buzzed with news of Kai's performance. Students who had mocked him before now treated him with respect, some with curiosity, others with wariness. The bullies, especially Zarnak and Lyra, no longer laughed openly. They observed him cautiously, realizing they had misjudged the human completely. Kai, however, remained humble. He did not gloat or boast. His power was quiet, controlled, and deliberate. He understood that true strength lay in patience, observation, and the ability to adapt. Words were unnecessary. Actions spoke louder than anything else. One evening, as Kai walked through the corridors, he noticed small changes. Fellow students whispered about his performance, some seeking his advice, others just watching him curiously. The academy had always been a place of intimidation and challenge, but now it felt different. Kai had earned his place, not through strength or aggression, but through the quiet power of his mind. He thought about the future. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers, mysteries, and challenges that no one could predict. Humans had always been underestimated, but that underestimation was an advantage. Kai realized that his journey was just beginning. The academy was merely a starting point. Out there, in the infinite expanse of stars, humans could achieve unimaginable things. Kai's reflection was interrupted by a familiar voice. "Kai!" He looked up to see Vale approaching, his multiple eyes gleaming with approval. "You have done well, human. The other students have witnessed a glimpse of your abilities." But the true test will come when you face challenges with no guidance, no training, and no predictability. Are you ready for that? Kai straightened, his gaze steady. I am ready. I have learned that humans may be underestimated, but we are capable of more than anyone imagines. I will prove it. Vale's translucent face seemed to smile. Good, you must continue to refine your mind to anticipate, adapt, and act decisively. That is your strength. The galaxy will soon see it too. Kai left the library with renewed determination. The bullies still existed, the challenges would keep coming, but he no longer felt fear or self-doubt. He had discovered his secret power, the quiet, unstoppable force of human ingenuity, adaptability, and strategic thought. It was a force that no alien could easily predict, and it was only growing stronger. As he gazed out of the Academy's observation deck into the vastness of space, Kai felt a surge of excitement. The universe was not just a place to survive. It was a place to excel, to rise, and to show that humans, small and underestimated, could achieve greatness that even the strongest alien minds could not imagine. Kai's journey was far from over. The challenges ahead would be greater, the dangers more unpredictable, but he knew one truth. Humans had a power hidden beneath appearances, and one day the galaxy would see it fully. For now he had won respect, survived impossible trials, and learned to trust in himself. And that was only the beginning. The Academy announced a grand event, the ultimate interstellar trial, a test that combined every skill the students had learned throughout the semester. It was designed to push them to their limits, blending strategy, combat, navigation, and survival. For many, it was the pinnacle of their training, the moment that would define their place in the galaxy's future. Kai stood at the edge of the arena, feeling a mixture of excitement and calm determination. He was no longer the small, timid human who had been mocked and bullied. Weeks of secret training with Professor Vale had honed his mind, sharpened his instincts, and awakened a power that even the most advanced alien species struggled to match. Today, the world would see just how dangerous underestimation could be. His team consisted of 2 alien students who had once doubted him. Their expressions now showed a quiet respect, tinged with anxiety. Even Zarnak and Lyra, observing from the stands, were silent. The arrogance that had once defined them was replaced by cautious curiosity. The simulation began. The arena transformed into a massive star cluster, filled with asteroids, energy storms, and enemy squads. Teams scattered in every direction, some relying purely on brute strength, others on speed or technological skill. Kai observed, analyzing patterns, anticipating movements, and preparing to guide his team. "Follow me," he said calmly, projecting confidence. "We move through the asteroid field on my mark. Watch the energy pulses carefully. Timing is everything." His teammates followed. Kai's mind worked faster than anything around him. He predicted which asteroids would shift, where enemy drones would appear, and how the energy storms would change direction. Every movement was precise, every decision calculated. Midway through the simulation, the stakes grew higher. A massive holographic enemy squad appeared, more numerous and aggressive than any they had faced before. The aliens on his team tensed, ready to attack with overwhelming force. Kai raised his hand. "Wait." "Observe first," he said. "Notice their patterns. Every squad repeats moves they think are unpredictable. They overestimate chaos, use it against them." The team hesitated, then trusted him. Kai guided them carefully, directing attacks in ways the enemy could not anticipate. Drones collided with each other, paths blocked, and openings appeared that only Kai had predicted. Step by step, they dismantled the squad, finishing faster than any other team had managed. The observers murmured in astonishment. Even the instructors, who had seen countless generations of students, could not hide their amazement. A human, a species known for being physically weaker than almost every alien, was leading his team to victory through intelligence, strategy, and adaptability alone. The simulation introduced its final challenge, an unstable planet with shifting gravity fields, hidden traps, and enemy ambushes. Teams needed to land, activate a central energy core, and escape before the planet's unstable core collapsed. Many teams panicked, rushing recklessly and falling into traps. Kai studied the shifting gravity patterns, calculating the timing and positions of every obstacle. He mapped a safe route in his mind, predicting enemy moves before they happened. "We follow the left ridge," he said. "Timing is critical. Move with the rhythm, not against it." His team moved as one. Each alien, previously confident in raw strength, now followed his calculated directions. The planet's traps activated, but Kai's guidance allowed them to dodge energy bursts, gravitational shifts, and ambushes with precision. Other teams fell behind, trapped by mistakes that Kai had already anticipated. Finally, they reached the energy core. Enemy squads tried to block them, but Kai saw patterns in their movement, predictable angles, and repeated strategies. "Split and converge," he instructed. "Lead them into the gaps. We move as one." The team executed flawlessly. Enemy squads were outmaneuvered, caught in traps of their own making, and Kai's team activated the core. The arena flashed with victory signals, the simulation ending in a triumph that no one had expected. The crowd erupted, cheering and whispering in disbelief. Even the instructors were stunned. "Remarkable," one said. "The human did not just survive, he led, strategized, and outsmarted every obstacle. Incredible adaptability and foresight." Kai's alien teammates looked at him with awe. Their doubt, their skepticism was gone. They had followed a human to victory, something they had never imagined possible. Even Zarnak and Lyra descended from the observation deck, their eyes wide. They approached him slowly, respect replacing the mockery they had once shown. You led them all?" Zarnak asked, his voice hesitant. "How?" Kai smiled faintly. "By observing, predicting, and staying calm, that's all." Lyra's fangs clicked softly, a gesture that had once been threatening but now felt like acknowledgement. "You've proven something important, human. You're different." Kai nodded. He didn't need to boast. The results spoke for themselves. Weeks of quiet training, observation, and adaptation had culminated in this moment. He had turned his greatest weaknesses, the small size, the lack of strength, into a unique advantage, a mind that no alien could easily outthink. The instructors gathered the teams for awards and recognition. Kai's team stood at the front. The academy's director addressed the crowd. "Today, we witnessed something extraordinary. One student, underestimated by everyone, demonstrated the power of strategy, observation, and adaptation. Let this be a lesson. Intelligence and ingenuity can surpass physical strength and speed. The human student, Kai, has set a standard for all of us." Kai felt a quiet pride. He had not sought attention, but the acknowledgement was satisfying. The bullies, once mocking and cruel, now looked at him with a mixture of humility and respect. The small, fragile human they had dismissed was now a leader, a strategist, and a winner. After the ceremony, Kai returned to his dorm. The events of the day replayed in his mind. Every challenge he had faced, every obstacle he had overcome had brought him here. He thought about how far he had come, from a timid, bullied student to a human whose secret power had changed everything. Professor Vale appeared at the doorway, his multiple eyes gleaming. "You have done exceptionally well, Kai. You have shown the galaxy that humans, though underestimated, possess a unique strength. Your mind is your weapon, your adaptability your shield. Never forget that." Kai smiled. "Thank you, sir. I couldn't have done it without your guidance. You taught me to see beyond what is obvious, to trust myself, and to act with precision." Vale nodded. "And now others will begin to see it too. The galaxy underestimates humans. That underestimation is our advantage. One day, that advantage will change everything." Kai gazed out of the window at the vastness of space. Stars sparkled across the infinite void, planets rotated silently, and distant galaxies shimmered faintly. For a long time, he had felt small in the universe, powerless among beings who were larger, faster, and stronger. But now he understood something crucial. Strength alone did not define a species. Adaptability, intelligence, and courage could surpass even the most advanced technology or physical ability. Over the following weeks, Kai's reputation grew. Students who had once mocked him sought his advice. Teams requested his guidance for simulations. Even the instructors consulted him on strategy, impressed by his unique perspective. The human student who had been bullied, ignored, and underestimated had become a symbol of hope and ingenuity. Zarnak and Lyra approached him one day, their previous arrogance tempered by respect. "Kai," Zarnak began, we underestimated you. You've shown all of us that humans are not what we thought." Kai nodded, his expression calm. "It's not about underestimating anyone. It's about observing, adapting, and acting when it matters. That is what humans do best." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "I see that now. You've taught us something important, even without trying." Kai smiled faintly. "Sometimes the best lessons are shown by action, not words." As the semester drew to a close, Kai reflected on his journey. The bullying, the fear, the isolation, they had all been part of his preparation. Each challenge had forced him to adapt, to think, and to grow stronger in ways the others could not imagine. He had learned that humans, though seemingly fragile, possessed a hidden strength that no alien could easily predict. He realized that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with dangers, mysteries, and opportunities. Humans would always be underestimated, but that underestimation was their advantage. Kai was determined to continue growing, refining his abilities, and showing the universe what humans could achieve. One evening, as he stood on the observation deck looking out at the stars, he felt a quiet sense of pride and purpose. The journey ahead was long, and the challenges would only grow more complex. But Kai was ready. He had discovered his secret power, mastered it through patience and training, and proven that humans, no matter how small or seemingly weak, could achieve greatness. The Academy, the students, and even the galaxy had seen only a glimpse of what humans were capable of. And one day, Kai knew, they would see the full extent of that power. For now, he smiled quietly to himself, knowing that the small, underestimated human had already changed the way the galaxy viewed his species. He was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead, confident in his mind, his strategy, and his unyielding determination. Kai was no longer just a student. He was a human, clever, adaptable, and unstoppable in ways the universe had never seen before. And the story of the small human who had overcome bullying, fear, and doubt to reveal his secret power was just beginning.